very late but still animated, Chris Wells. He's a senior character animator at Epic Games. So over to you, Chris.
Sorry I'm late once again. We just got caught up with well, it's not important. But anyway, thanks for coming out. Once again, my name is Chris Wells, and today what I'd like to talk to you about is how we at Epic Games use various tools to get our characters, levels, weapons from concept to creation. And I'm a senior character artist at Epic Games, and a little bit of info about me. I graduated from the University of Georgia in studio art and classical drawing in human and animal anatomy. And 8 years ago, I joined Red Storm Entertainment, which is a Ubisoft company, and I was working on the Ghost Recon series and the Rainbow Six series for a while. And for a time, I lived in Paris, France, working with Ubisoft Montreux, that studio, working on a little project, Charlie's Angels. 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, I joined Epic as a character modeler, texture artist, and worked on Gears of War, and most recently on Unreal Tournament 3. So, in an overview, we're going to use the concepts as a springboard to take the model further. We're not going to copy it exactly. We're kind of make changes as we go along. And also, what we'll do is we'll go over modeling high and low poly and some things you want to think about before we just go ahead and jump into it, and go over organic and hard surface modeling as well. Unwrapping processing, we'll go over DeepUV, which is a nice program from Right Hemisphere, as well as using render to texture, which is a really good tool in Max. General workflow for animation, some texturing, going over how we could use Deep Paint or as well as Photoshop, obviously. And then after that, we'll just go briefly over some fundamentals in terms of light drawing and where that kind of ties in. So, some information about Epic Games. Founded 16 years ago, in 1991, by Tim Sweeney. It is based in Cary, North Carolina, although we have an office in Shanghai as well. Some of our early successes were Jill in the Jungle and Epic Pinball, and the Unreal and Unreal Tournament series. We've had multiple hits in those series, and most recently Gears of War. And we got really lucky with Gears of War because we managed to sell 3 million copies in about 10 weeks. And it's continued to sell pretty well. But if you're not familiar with Gears of War, I just want to put on this trailer.
For a time, the humans of Sera knew the illusion of peace until emergency. Billions dead, humans denied their enemy control by destroying their own civilization. Now, a long struggle against overwhelming odds approaches a final, desperate stand.
So that's Gears of War. Our latest game is Unreal Tournament 3. And that's more of a fast-paced first-person shooter. Coincidentally, all the things you've seen in the cinematics are actually using the in-game models. They're just and they're rendered in the Unreal Engine 3. It's just with dynamic lighting, just real fancy lighting. Unreal Tournament 3 will be released Monday, it'll be November 19th, in the United States for the PC. I've heard Australia here too, but I'm not certain. And it'll follow on the PS3 fairly soon after that. Here's a clip that just gives you a little bit of a taste of what the single-player story is like.
shouldn't have come back.
I knew you'd be pissed when you woke up, and this mercenary gig gets us up close and personal with the necklace fast.
Name's Malcolm. Reaper. Is a night he hired me to run special ops.
That skank is a necklace hiding pussy. Name's Akasha. She handles non-military ops like the woman on Twin Souls.
So she slaughters civilians for a living. Nice.
We've kept the fight under the NEG's radar, but this new alliance may prove able to make a mistake, like open warfare.
This isn't war. This is slaughter.
They think they come this fast. Attack everyone.
You wanted them to break the rules, start an open war. Well, take a look. You got your wish. I'm not on a holy war. I just want to kill this bitch.
So with that, what I'll do is we'll go over the process of making some of these assets through two characters. This one being Loke, and another one is Akasha. Now at Epic, what we do is the concept phase normally is a back and forth between the lead artist, in this case it's Paul Jones, and the concept artist, which is James Hawkins. And James actually worked on Gears of War 2 as well as a concept artist. Gears of War, obviously. It's normally the process is very iterative, and depending on how James would want to start, it can start with an existing model. So what he's done here is he's taken just a quick render in Max, as you'll see on the far left. He's drawn on top of it what we would call a paint over. And as it progresses, you know, he kind of leaves the old idea behind and arises something new. And what we try to do is kind of try to integrate that into a lot of our artists' workflow. Here's Akasha right here, drawn from scratch, sort of the more traditional way here. And at Epic, it's kind of like the concept is really like the beginning of the conversation in terms of developing, whether it be a character or an object or so on and so forth. It's not the final word, so you don't want to copy it verbatim. And here's a final composition here. And so we have that finished now, and what we're ready to do is go over the modeling pipeline. And what we generally use is Max and Maya as the hub of our modeling pipeline and go out to Mudbox or ZBrush for sculpting, and then back into Max and Maya using Polygon Cruncher to optimize our high poly meshes to render the texture or whatever else we'd like to do with it before bringing it into the Unreal Editor. But before we get to modeling, these are some things that at least you want to be thinking about before you jump in. And that's to block the characters out. The reason we do this is, you know, organics and hard surfaces aren't treated the same way when you're modeling. What we tend to find is that when you're modeling organics, 10% of the time is used really in Max or Maya. It's just setting up the basic control mesh, very simple. And then the sculpting takes place in, you know, ZBrush or Maya. But with hard surfaces, because of their complexity or their precision, most of the time you're in Max, and you're, you know, getting all that stuff all, you know, very intricate and so on and so forth. And then the other 10% of the time you take a, you know, ZBrush pass or Mudbox pass